Hello and welcome to the Mastafran art stream. Today is a more correct stream as I am streaming on I guess a nice Tuesday night. It's Tuesday, May 12th, Cyber Year 2016. It's a cloudy night day, but I'm kind of just living my life and trying to just just get through things. Hope everyone's doing all right, because I'm kind of tired, I'll admit. I wanted to stream last stream, and I was streaming through my new Wacom Moveink 11, and it's an Android tablet that I recently got over the weekend, and I guess for some reason things just aren't gelling. Uh-oh, my Cintiq's completely off alignment. One moment, I had to actually check if the thing was working. I completely borked myself. Fantastic. Yep, that's why I keep telling myself, oh, am I prepared to stream? Well, not really. I'm usually not prepared. No matter how much I think, oh, I'm gonna do literally everything. Nope, tend to just not be prepared. But I'm just gonna live my life and try to just get through this one day at a time and kind of just chat a little bit about how I've been and why I essentially missed all of, all this week. I've completely missed out on a stream, but I do plan to do probably like 2 days of a stream just to make up for the last week, just for everyone here who actually keeps up with me. Where is it? W-A. Okay. Oops, that's not it. Alright. So, what have I really been up to for the last few weeks? I've mostly been just enjoying my life. I had a fine Mother's Day weekend, and I made my mom and my grandmother pancakes, and I made them from scratch, so in my personal opinion, they were kind of alright. My mom, she liked the pancakes, but it's one of those things where my imposter syndrome stopped me from accepting the compliment. Of course, the frickin' Wacom is still misaligned. I seriously hope I don't need to restart the machine. I better not. Nope, things are still ain't working. Come on. You actual piece of garbage. Come on. My device is not... Oh, fuck. Oh, son of a bitch. My device is not survive. Oh, the shit keeps piling on. Oh boy, okay. I made the foolhardy mistake of upgrading my driver, my Wacom Cintiq driver. And of course, I updated myself to basically obsolescence, I suppose. And that's kind of just been a big notable thing that I've kind of just been dealing with for most of, I'd say, the weekend. So, I should probably talk about my new Wacom Moveink 11. So, I recently got a screen tablet, like an actual, move around with the computer tablet, where, oh boy, am I able to, try to make sure this is working here. Oh yes, I recently got the Wacom Moveink 11, and it's been pretty alright. I've been working with it for 2 weeks, and kind of just fumbling about with it for, I'd say, most of the weekend. And so far, so good with a lot of, I guess, the stuff that I care about, though there are some little foibles that are kind of just screwing me at the moment. So right now I'm kind of like fumbling around the Clip Studio debut on Android, and it's been okay. It draws almost one-to-one with Clip Studio Paint. Unfortunately, it's the debut version, and my desktop version is EXE. So the one thing that kind of just sucks is that Cintiq 13, I better have had it, you motherfucker. Alright. Well, that's the earliest I could probably download you. Let's pick September 2025, confirm download. This better fucking work, cause I ain't happy that my goddamn Wacom tablet don't work. But yeah, the Moveink Wacom tablet, it's pretty alright. So I've been fiddling around with little Android apps with the Moveink, and drawing out is the best aspect of it. I really like the default Cintiq drawing the Wacom canvas, and it lets you just draw just right then and there. Son of a bitch. Okay, I gotta remove the driver. Okay. Am I able to maybe how to remove driver? Alright, am I supposed to just uninstall these things? Guess I'm uninstalling the fucking Wacom thing. We uninstalling. Goodbye. Yes, uninstall. But yes, the Wacom Moveink has been pretty decent to draw in. It's a lower-end Android tablet. It's an Android 14 tablet with 128 gigabytes of storage and I believe 8 gigabytes of RAM. So it's not a heavy machine compared to the iPad mini that I had. It's a giant downgrade, I'll say. But the reason I got it is because I want to have a more specific drawing tablet. Says for the longest time I was just always frustrated with my Wacom tablet and how much no matter how much I fiddled with the controls, it just never felt good to draw in. I've worked with Procreate, I've tried fumbling with the little the curves and stuff like that, but for some reason Procreate just has the most backwards curves. You try readjusting the curves so they're my regular tablet stuff, so it's oh yeah, I forgot the fucking thing, so I'll have to use my trackball. But essentially I got my curves, and the regular curve would be my general curve is more like this. This is how my general tablet curve is. It's light on my personal touch because I have a lighter hand, though I think my Cintiq actually has it, so my hand's a little heavier, arguably. It has something like this on my Cintiq, because the Cintiq actually has an amazing feature on my desktop of my desktop of Clip Studio Paint actually has an amazing feature where it'll kind of assess your own, it'll assess how you're drawing, and you know, you can like sketch on the screen, and it will kind of like see how your strokes are as you kind of just get your arm warmed up for the tablet. And it'll kind of just analyze, okay, how are you drawing naturally, and then it'll show you the curve, and you'll accept or not accept the curve, and that's kind of how the tablet's gonna go. So that's been pretty decent for the Wacom tablet, and Procreate, or at least Clip Studio Paint, and Procreate doesn't have that feature like Clip Studio has. So that's like one thing that kind of like frustrated me about using Clip Studio Paint. I've used other apps on the iPad like Art Studio Pro, but that still hasn't just felt any better. The Apple Pencil, I don't know what's up with it. I don't know if it's a whole alternate sensitivity or articulation or whatever. I don't know how it just detects. Maybe it's the fact that it has like that extra like tilt, where it's like, okay, you can draw on the side of the pencil, but the Wacom tablet, you're just working on just this tiny little tip, and that's about all you've got. And the Wacom tablet just isn't working at all for what I want for just drawing on the tablet at all. And I was kind of just dissatisfied with what the iPad was offering me, because I bought the mini after I had a I think it was a larger iPad Pro. I think it was the iPad Pro, shoot, it was like the latest iPad Pro. But then I lost it back in November 2003, and I kind of just fell off of having an iPad until I just bought mini again, just because I was holding out hope. But even from that, I was still just not happy with my iPad. I was just, you know, I guess I was just begrudgingly using it because it was my mobile machine. But I guess I just felt constant resistance to using it. Like, I still have my sketchbook with me, but despite like doing things like not taking my sketchbook with me, but just having an iPad, I still kind of just never felt interested in using my iPad. Like, I was like looking for general pens and sticky notes and stuff like that. I kind of returned back to drawing on sticky notes because I guess I just didn't like drawing my iPad. And that kind of just was, I guess, a notable sign that I just didn't like drawing on the iPad. Honestly, I feel like it's more of a, I just didn't like drawing digitally, but that's not here nor there. But one thing that, you know, I saw a review by Brad Koblaw about the Wacom Cintiq, you know, the Wacom Moveink 11. And, you know, what he was talking about was all its features that, you know, it sounded pretty good for what was essentially a nice, cheap budget tablet. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty decent. Maybe if I had like a little extra cash, I'd probably try that out just to see. And I was like legit considering it. Like, maybe like sell the iPad, get a tiny bit of value from that, and just buy the Wacom Moveink and just see how it is. I would lose less from it. But I was like kind of like wishy-washy about actually sticking with it, because again, I was doing research, I saw other reviews, and there were some huge deal breakers. Again, it's an Android 14 tablet, so it's old. It's on an older OS than my current phone, which is insanity to me. But I was like, okay, it's lower end, but it was just like $400 US. So I mean, I'm essentially getting what I paid for if I get this tablet. Like, it is a fraction of an iPad. So, you know, essentially I'm getting what I paid for if I get this pad. So the you know, it's not a 4K screen. I think it's like I think it's like a 140. It's like a it's 3000 something by 1440p something. Like, it's not exactly 4K like the current iPads and stuff like that, but you know, it's able to get the job done for what I need, which is a decent sized tablet with a decent bit of power. And I mean, I've been sketching it. It feels pretty alright. And other features that I kind of like found from the reviews was like, didn't really have a useful camera. I'm like, you know what? I never really use my camera on my iPad. I think I used it once for getting a fast reference photo that my phone, I think at the time, was just kind of broken, but I never really use my iPad's camera that much. But they had a lower end, the Wacom Moveink, it has a lower end camera, and it's more inset into the tablet, so it's not in the way if you lay it flat on the ground like an iPad. So that's interesting. So yeah, it didn't really have a high-end camera, but honestly, I don't really use the camera. Doesn't really have a lot of like RAM stuff, and honestly, I'm totally fine with it. There's a lot of features with it that I had the iPad, but it was just my Procreate and Pick Square machine. I had LumaFusion, I had Nomad Sculpt, you know, GarageBand, and all the other Apple stuff came default, but I never touched them at all. Like, it was just the Procreate machine. And I begrudgingly use Procreate machine. Like, I bought a, little, like, a zip drive that plugs in the USB 3 plug. And, you know, I was exporting the files to my Windows machine on my desktop. And it's always just a miserable experience because it's just not instant for me. And the one thing I do like about the Moveink is I can just connect the tablet and I've just got access to my file explorer in the tablet, just no problem. I can just get in there, take out the files I need, and put in files I need. I'm kind of just there and back. Like, that's what I miss from old electronics. Like, my phone does that, but for some fucking reason my phone needs to like type in my PIN to access the freaking USB files. I'm like, fuck off. So that's neither here nor there, but the tablet you can just plug and play, and that's totally fine. The Moveink had a feature where you could plug in the tablet and you could actually use it like a regular Cintiq. And yeah, it was touted, the Moveink 11 was touted as one of its features, but I don't have a Windows 11 because I'm not a sucker. So I couldn't actually use the Moveink, which is ironic because I'm having this conversation right now because my stupid freaking Cintiq, I essentially updated out of obsolescence and it's fucking out unaligned. So I gotta freaking live with that. Let me see if I can't unplug you and then plug you back in. Okay. Have you turn off for a bit. Turn you back on. Art thou working? Nope, you're still fucking out of alignment. I don't want to reset the stream now because I need to restart the computer. You know what, honestly, we're probably just gonna chat. Let me turn on the interactivity files just so everyone can kind of see other stuff. Like me, the running animation, just have those there. And you can just watch that go while I yap. But yeah, the Moveink tablet, it's kind of alright. It's so it's getting it right out of the box. Again, I was able to get it set up, draw in it. The first thing I did was I drew on the Wacom canvas and managed to draw a little like picture. And you know, it took me a bit of like setting up, but once I set up with all the apps that I had, you know, I connected to my Google account because again, it's an Android tablet, so it's connected to a lot of Google stuff. Lucky for me, all I really need to do is like connect my phone, and all the apps kind of just pop into there. I kind of like banned a few apps from the tablet because I didn't want any distractions. I kept like VLC off because I didn't want to put in a lot of my music stuff on that tablet because I don't plan to just listen to music, and I want to just conserve as much space as possible. So I was very choosy about the apps I was going to put in the new tablet. So all I really had was maybe like my email app, well, not really email. I had it's the Macedon Blue Sky RSS feed looker. There it is. RSS feed looker thing, and I have that. But then I downloaded a bunch of like art apps. Some of the apps are apps that I hadn't had since I had my my Samsung Galaxy Note phone, and that was, I think it's going 11 years in the past. And I used to draw in the ArtFlow app, and I was kind of like forcing myself to kind of just use the ArtFlow app just to use the Samsung pen, because again, I just still had my hatred of digital art back then. But these days I kind of tolerate it a bit more, and I was just anticipating using ArtFlow more, and ArtFlow is pretty okay on the bigger screen. Obviously with bigger screen you got more space to sketch and stuff like that, and it works okay. There are some little foibles with ArtFlow that is kind of ruffling my feathers. Like if you turn on the screen recording in ArtFlow, it cannot handle that. Like it can't display the entire screen. It looks dark, and it'll like black out all the entire screen except the line you're currently drawing, and that can royally suck. So that's probably me like hitting the text ceiling on the Moveink with ArtFlow. And there are other apps that I want to try out just to see. Like I was using Autodesk Sketchbook, the Android app, and that's okay. I used to use it like it's one of the super old reliable ones. Like I don't use Clip, but it's one of those, if I have nothing else, Sketchbook is still a solid one that I still use back when I was still like using more Autodesk stuff. So I was doing that. I downloaded Ibis Paint X and Infinite Painter and Krita just because I was suggested trying those out, but I still haven't used them at all. I found Nomad Sculpt on the Play Store, so I'll probably play that, though I'll probably have to buy these apps again because this is the Android version. I bought Nomad Sculpt on the iPad version, so I'm probably gonna blow another like $30 on Nomad Sculpt. But yeah, I also re-downloaded Pixel Studio, which was a pixel art program that I initially used when on my Samsung Galaxy Note phone when I was trying to make pixel art. I don't know if you remember this one pixel illustration that I made of a hyena, and it was just a laughing hyena, and I made that in Pixel Studio. Let me see if I can pop that back up. Yeah. There you are. Let's see if I can't get you popped open here. So yeah, had a hyena. I made this entirely in Pixel Studio, and it was kind of okay. The Pixel Studio UI absolutely sucked on a phone, but I was jimmying around with the Pixel Studio on the Moveink, and obviously it's a way larger screen. But honestly, I guess because I'm so used to Aseprite and stuff like that, I'm not as super happy with Pixel Studio's UI. I suppose it's, I guess it's kind of like too bulky for what I seek. So, you know, it is what it is with that. But Pixel Studios, it's kind of okay. Other things with the Wacom tablet, I download concepts, but I haven't used that. Yeah, I've mostly been using Clip Studio Debut, and it's okay. I got a free trial of Clip Studio Debut when I bought the tablet, because when you register the tablet, you can essentially get a free trial of Debut, and you know, you can just use the Android app. I believe it's for 2 years, but essentially you have a free trial of Debut, and after those 2 years, you gotta do the freaking subscription thing. There's no one-time purchase. You have to buy the stupid goddamn subscription, and the EX version of that subscription is even more expensive because it's like $60 a year, and I'm like, come the fuck on. I mean, I think it's less expensive because I think it's like $5 a year. I need to like look up a calendar or a calculator. Let's see, 60 divided by maybe like 12. That's $5 a year. I was like, the fact that I have a desktop version, I already own the desktop version, but now if you want something in mobile, you have to pay. That's so annoying. So that's kind of just me kind of just feeling frustrated. And honestly, it's with a lot of the apps, like Restream's kind of throw me for a curveball today. I actually imported some of my Aseprite files into Restream, and I can't export them out. Like, it's a one-way trip on the free version of Resprite. You have to pay the actual, you know, you have to actually pay for Resprite before you can actually get those features. Luckily, Resprite, there's a one-time purchase, so I'll live with that. But still, like, a lot of these apps, I don't know if it's a mobile culture or whatever it is, but it's like it's constantly like getting on you. But you know, I mean, I saw that it had in-app purchases, so I mean, it obviously, you know, I knew that you would have to pay for it. But I guess the audacity of like hitting that ceiling kind of like soured me a bit on, you know, just Android apps in general. Like, I think my big dream of a PC tablet is kind of just on the wayside, because, you know, Windows ain't really making a tablet that can both integrate on the desktop computer and be mobile and portable and stuff like that. Like, you'd have to get a laptop for that, and that's most of it. So, you know, I will probably never realize that dream of a portable PC that fast, so it is what it is. So far, I mean, the Moveink is pretty okay, but again, I've only used it for 2 days. Yeah, maybe 4. Not 2 days, because I was at a convention over the weekend, so, you know, I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, the Wacom Moveink, it's decent right now. I'm gonna give it a year and use it, you know, try to like use it in my just everyday workflow. Luckily, the apps I purchase will be connected to my actual account, so it is what it is with like Google's thing. And if not, I will fucking pirate those apps because they're Android apps. I can find the APKs where I can. But, you know, it's one of those things where I'm kind of just not, you know, super happy about the Android stuff. But it's one of those things where I can live with because I have an Android phone. It's less of a pain in the butt to use on my iPhone because I can actually access my fucking files. But yeah, I think one other notable thing that I kind of miss from my iPad is the Wacom Moveink is larger. It's, you know, 8x11, so it's a standard notebook size, like a standard, like, you know, composition notebook type thing. So I can't stuff it in my little bag with the rest of my like 5.5 by 8x5 or 8.5 little sketchbooks that I have. So I'll have to live with that. But it's okay. It's not a huge deal. I carried my laptop like that, so I mean, I do have a bag, so it's not like I'm suffering. I think the one thing that I'll also kind of ding is the official Wacom case absolutely royally sucks. It has a material that can't cover the screen when it's on, so if you're charging the tablet, the screen will turn on and you're kind of seeing a slight light, so that can be annoying. Putting the tablet inside the case can be a pain in the butt, and also the way the case is set up, a lot of my USB 3 zip drives can't go inside the USB 3 slot in the tablet because the zip drive can't, you know, with the zip drive case is too large, so I have to take out the tablet itself out of its own case in order to plug in the zip drive. So that royally sucks. But I did get a USB 3 to USB 3 cable with it, so I can essentially like plug it into, you know, I can plug it into other USB 3 devices, so I can transfer them no problem with that. So that's essentially how I'm able to deal with that problem. But, you know, the case could use work. I don't know if there are other cases. I haven't looked so much. I'll probably look later. But the actual Wacom tablet, like pen and stuff like that, is not magnetic like the Apple Pencil. Like, it's separate. So if you're fool enough to lose it, you're kind of gone. You're kind of fucked for a while. But it does accept other tablet pens. You know, I was suggested a Sadlighter stylus pen, and that was pretty alright. And you know, there are other you know, stylus pens that it does accept. Like, I believe it accepts I think older pens. Let me see if I can't find like a list. What kind of things does it accept? Okay, so yeah, accepts other Wacom Pro pen grips. So that actually will be really helpful for me because I want to get some a larger grip pen, because that's one of those things where I kind of just felt like it's not really showing up. Now let's see. Yeah, I don't have an exact list of like the pen types here, but you know, it's you know, it makes sense. It's there. So Wacom one. Yeah. So yeah, what else? Yeah, what else? I guess I'll chat a little bit about my time at Forest Park Library Fan Fest. So that was over the weekend, and yeah, it did really good, I'd say. Sold a decent amount of stickers, sold out of one of the Pacer Cast sticker packs, so I'm gonna, shoot to get some funding for my to reorder those sticker packs. So follow me, drop a little something in my coffee, kind of just chip in a little. That I appreciate that a lot, because I want to print more stickers. So that'll be that. And I'll still have stickers that aren't sold out on my online store, but I am I do plan to do a slight shift in terms of making more of the jumbo packs, where I take 4 stickers and I put them in together. I kind of just make them a little bundle. So I'm gonna do more to make more sticker bundles. So 1, it's easier to carry around. 2, I feel like the individual stickers, I feel like if I'm changing up my individual stickers, I kind of have a bunch of stragglers and stuff like that. So I'm kind of doing more bundles to kind of just catch up all those stragglers, the lower selling stickers. I put those in the bundles just so I can move those. And you'll get an extra sticker that you probably won't even know, because you're getting a bundle. Like, all the bundles are like $15, and the stickers are $5 each. And there's like 4 stickers in a pack. So essentially you're getting, if you buy 3, you get 1 free. So that's basically why the deal's so good. So I am going to do more of those sticker packs, and also I do want to do more stickers in general. That is just in my personal queue of just stuff I still need to do. There's still so much junk I gotta do with that. Like, again, there's still these cutscenes. Like this, I was in the process of making a new cutscene, and actually refined this way more in my tablet, until I found out that I can't bring it back. So I'm like, you know what? I can either decide to restart, or I can just work on that. So it is what it is with that. What else? But yeah, Forest Park Public Library Fan Fest. Again, it was really lovely. I met a bunch of artists who were actually pretty local to further North Chicago. I'd say they're, well, not North Chicago, but like closer to the city proper. Like, I live a little bit more in like central Illinois. No, not really central Illinois, like north. So I'm still northern Illinois. It's just, it is what it is with that. And it's, it was pretty good with that. And I sold a decent amount. It was a decent crowd, I'd say. And had a lovely conversation with someone to kind of just motivate them into getting their comic started. And I'd hope that I have inspired them enough to at least just go do it. Because that's always the toughest thing, is just getting your ass to just not be stuck in tutorial hell, and actually just fucking draw a story, make mistakes, learn how to rectify those mistakes, and actually put your theories to paper. Because that's one thing that will suck about doing, like, you're constantly looking at YouTube tutorials. You hit a point where you're spinning your wheels because you're too fearful to actually start. You don't want to, make the wrong decision with your creativity. And, I absolutely get that. It's easy to feel embarrassed for putting yourself out there, but that's the nature of creativity, and the only way you're really going to know if you're creative or not is if you actually put the pen to paper, or put the stylus to screen, so to speak. And you just try to just get that rolling. And you're only ever going to learn until you actually start. So that's that's a short version of my like little personal spiel to this person. I don't know if they're listening to the stream now, but if they are, hello, and I hope you started, or if you have my business card, you'll probably message me. He probably won't, because I'm not on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, so essentially I'm invisible to this person. But that's my life. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I don't know. Wait, actually no. I do have another convention that's coming, but I think that's I had to look at my calendar again, because I believe that's late May, early June. I will not be at Anime Central, unfortunately. I didn't get a table there. I don't know if I'll get a lottery in time, so, I'm in the list. I don't know if I'll get drawn, but fingers crossed, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'm just going to keep on keeping on with my own stuff. I believe June I have a different convention, Crusader Con, and I'm sure it's another like toy con, because the runner of that also ran a toy con and he ran this. I'm kind of like, okay, I'll do another one, mostly because I have the weekend free, and he gave me a good discount on the table, so I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I'm gonna hit that up around June, I believe 2nd. That is a giant lie, but I'm going to look it up because I'm my own genie. But yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, other than that, I should probably talk about the status of Black Mask. So Black Mask, it's still, I'm still working on these freaking cutscenes. I'm, I guess, in the process of kind of like making some new variants. I'm currently making a front view version of Cole as a little compliment to his back view version. Let me see if I can't find his back view. Yeah, I'm essentially making a front view variant of this, but you're seeing him in front. And I'm trying to keep in mind his general size, and obviously I'm reworking how, I'm actually drawing him good. I literally cranked this fast just to, just get the placement down. And I want to just fix it later, so this stream was supposed to be me fixing it later, but of course I need to take a break and actually fix that. So you know what? I'm gonna try to take a break, and by take a break, I'm actually going to just restart this stream because, yeah. Anyway, I will be right back. Stay tuned. I will try to not be too long, trying to just get my tablet back again. So I will check you back later. Okay, that should be better. Tablet's actually working. It's been, I think, 4 resets. Had to essentially take my driver all the way back down to a driver from 2004. I am not happy with the state of technology. I'm going to try to make do before everything kind of just goes to hell. So I'm just going to do my best to kind of just get everything, really just make some progress before I need to head to bed, because I have really kind of just fumbled a lot of stuff overall. But yeah, I've kind of just like approaching this as I can. I think overall I've kind of just generally faster on my desktop. I think one thing that I'm kind of just wondering is that I feel like in my search to find, I guess, the most effective tablet, I'm probably losing the plot when it comes to what I actually want to do as an artist, I guess a digital artist and stuff like that. And sometimes I wonder if it's even worth continuing to do more digital art for this kind of thing, you know? Because I'm dealing with all this like stupid technology shit, and I've gotta constantly deal with a bunch of junk that I have to constantly have shit updated. I have to constantly make sure everything is in tip-top shape. And you do an update and it ends up crashing everything, and you're kind of like, why do I even bother sometimes? So that's one of those things where I'm kind of like wondering, maybe I should just dumpster most of my like digital art tasks, just focus on going traditional for the rest of my, I guess, artistic existence. I was recently watching a video, Strange Parts. It's a comic, comic, you know, I wouldn't say it's a comic review show, because obviously they do, he doesn't do reviews. He kind of just talks about the comics and kind of just goes over why they had impact and stuff like that. Like, he was going through a majority of the Cerberus comics and kind of just talking about, you know, just obscure indie comics. And I'm kind of like, you know what? It's kind of reignited my little indie spirit when it came to why I got into comics. And when I first read comics, a majority of my comics were things like Bone and Johnny Homicidal Maniac and stuff like that. Like, I hadn't read Spider-Man myself till maybe like college, because essentially I never really read much read superhero comics. Like, most of my superhero fare was from cartoons. But you know, I watched, you know, I knew about Spider-Man and stuff like that, but I knew about Spider-Man from, like, you know, radioactive spider blood and shit like that. So yeah, it was basically why I was able to know about Spider-Man through that. But beyond that, like, I never really interacted so much with all the Spider-Man media in comparison to just indie comics, because, you know, it had art that was completely different than the stuff that was in the mainstream. And straight on. You know what? We'll keep this straight on thing, because I was like wondering, man, I should like not do these straight on stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I'll work on that later, because he probably needs a more like angled look to that. But I'm not gonna fret too much about that. But I recently saw a video about hepcats, and essentially this was about a, you know, it's a slice of life comic, and essentially he wasn't able to get it, you know, he kind of like fell off of completing the comic, because essentially he was, you know, he had no funding to actually make it a reality. And listening to that made me think about webcomics and the early days of webcomics, and what I used to read a lot of webcomics back then because they were free, they were online, and thinking more about it, it kind of like embodied a lot of my just general consumption of just indie comics. Like, there were a few comics that were essentially like ongoing storylines, and some of them finished, some of them didn't, but it was always entertaining to just keep up with them because essentially they were comics that just were made directly by the creator and stuff like that, so it was kind of just a I don't know, I wouldn't say fun, but it's like it was a undergroundness that I guess I kind of just don't see from other webcomics because most webcomics are on Webtoon, so you don't really get much of that indie comic spirit from Webtoon sometimes. Ugh. Get rid of the arms. But yeah, it's an energy that I kind of want to just come back to sometimes, where I'm like, I want to work on a game, I want to just depend on someone else, I want to be this freaking self-reliant comic artist who just is just me and a dream of just making a story that I don't have to worry about making comprehensible to someone else sometimes. Not to say that doing this is kind of restrictive. I don't have an editor for Black Mass, but it does kind of put a little pressure on me to kind of make it seem, I don't know if I could say accessible, but make sure that people don't get bored. That's a difficult thing to explain. It's one of those things where if I end up making a comic or making creative decisions that would alienate people, that's not just me losing potential money, but second person losing potential money, and that's one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to put someone else on that. And if I'm indie, I would be able to do that. Of course, at the moment I'm kind of working in a team, so that's kind of just the breaks of collaboration, so kind of have to just make do with that. But I am trying to not fret so much about it. Again, this is supposed to be a fun thing. I just sometimes I think what's really kind of just harming me right now is the fact that I've been working on this for 7 years and I'm fucking sick of it. I am sick of the whole, waiting to see if any of this even works, and kind of making myself anxious about whether or not this is actually working, whether or not this game's fun, and worrying about it. With comics, I kind of know what I'm doing when it comes to what makes an interesting comic, fun to read. Well, I read a lot of comics, and I was in the process of writing more comics. I was in the process of essentially hitting a stride with comics. I was ready to essentially make a new webcomic, and I've kind of just fallen off of that because I've been working on this. And on one hand, I'm not angry that I'm doing it, but on the other hand, it's a product that's a big gamble, and at the moment I was kind of just having a surefire thing to do. I don't know. That's probably just me, just feeling anxious. That's probably just how that goes. I mean, Black Mass is going to come out in some iteration, even if I have to make it a comic anyway. But there's so much stuff in the, not just the industry, but like the games industry, that I'm like, man, I'm not really anticipating continuing the games industry because it's just so freaking trash sometimes. I'm kind of just like, well, if the game industry is just so shit, if everyone kind of just depends on working on, you know, AI and not really giving a crap about artists and stuff like that, why should I continue joining? Why should I join the animation industry if they just chew workers up and spit them out? So that's kind of just why I've kind of just stopped trying to apply, because it's like, you know, the nature of trying to be an animator means that you're constantly just jumping between jobs, and you have to constantly be on the lookout for new jobs, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's totally fair for most animators, but it's one of those things where I've kind of just realizing, or at least questioning, why on earth I would do that. Like, why should I spend a lot of time begging for people to let me be creative when I could just be creative myself, strike out on my own, and kind of just try to make that work? It's harder, but it's not impossible to do. Like, there's, again, several years of comics saying that it can be done. That's not impossible. So it's not like it's not like it's anything out of the ordinary. Like, the reason Bone exists is because it's essentially a really, really good indie comic that everyone followed. It is being a smash hit. And of course, honestly, for all the faults Cerebus has, like, I still kind of just feel, I guess, an aura to it, where it's like, it's kind of just, it still rocks that indie spirit in general. And it's kind of funny because a lot of stuff with Dave Sims stuff reminds you just other webcomic crash outs. Like, I guess a big one that's sort of comparable is the Sinfest artist, who essentially kind of just went hardcore conservative because, you know, essentially he was, you know, he just made the change. I don't know if, like, he had a breakup or anything like Dave Sim, or no, it's not. It wasn't a breakup; it was a divorce. But essentially, it was a Dave Sim style, you know, just breakdown, like creative breakdown. Like, Sinfest is infamous for just being completely different, because the person is now just creatively a different person when they started. So on one hand it sucks, but on the other hand I kind of feel this sense of, I don't know, I just feel interested in how that worked. And there's so much phlegm in my throat. I could probably turn this off. But yeah, I still kind of just feel this sense of like, I still feel like I could just make a webcomic. Like I still feel this, I guess this sense of like, I can make that work. I can discipline myself to do this. Like I've been able to kind of just, you know, I watch from a distance. I need to just prove it to myself that I can at least stick with a storyline. But that's probably just me kind of just assuming that I could do it. I probably can do it. I probably would crash and burn in like 5 years like most webcomics. I do think about like whether or not, like, okay, if I stick with Black Mass as a webcomic, I probably would like work on it for me like 4 years, realize it's not an immediate like money maker, and fall off of it. Because that's kind of just typical of most webcomics. A lot of webcomics, they tend to not go for maybe past 4 years because either the artist has more, you know, lucrative, creative things that he's able to do. Like he gets a proper commission and stuff like that. A lot of animation webcomic artists will essentially be like that. They'll start a webcomic because they're in between work, and then they'll stop the webcomic because they suddenly get work, and then, you know, people who were following that kind of just like fall off of that because, you know, that's kind of just how that goes sometimes. Yeah, we'll just let that rock. Yeah. This is supposed to be slick back by half made progress. So I will make more progress on this. Then I'll kind of say, hey, I actually tried. And this entire night wasn't a giant bust. Because it's already 9 right now. I already feel like I'm feeling hella tired, but I want to just leave everything on a bad note. I want to at least be finished, or at least be on a note where things are actually working. I also noticed I don't have my symmetry tool on, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just copy paste it. Fuck it all. We do it live. I think I've just been feeling incredibly tired through most of this entire, I guess, week. I don't know if I have like a thing where I'm probably feeling lethargic and stuff like that, but I think I'm hitting this weird point where either I'm getting used to all my energy drinks that I drink all the time and they're just not hitting anymore, or I'm kind of losing my ability to, or I'm losing too much sleep. Like I'm hitting a point where I absolutely need to just go to sleep, because otherwise I'm just flat out unfunctional. Because yeah, most of the day I just felt completely, well, I was completely just not stoned, but just, I was not in a, I guess I was just losing my ability to just be lucid and stay productive and actually work my stuff. I'll let that roll here. You roll here. Knock this out here. And like add some more shading here, and that'll be good. And I still feel like this could probably just drop so it looks like robes kind of just falling down. You probably like do a tiny bit of cheating when it comes to shading and all that stuff. Okay, this looks like a shadow. Good. That looks like it curls into itself. So I'm gonna let you go here. And like two more, and then they'll kind of look like it's adhering to shadows. Okay. I should put I may like do something like this. Okay. Delete the flip horizontal. Okay. So far so good with that. So what I can do okay. Copy you, put you down here. Motherfucker. Copy. Okay. copy you. Okay. Real nice. And I'm gonna copy this to the other side. And like get rid of this. Extend it. I mean, it looks okay. Know what I can do with this. And how the rope is out. There we are. Man, the American soundtrack to the Sonic CD is still pretty underrated. Like full on, like feel like they're people are kind of sleeping on this soundtrack just because it's not the Japanese version. And yada yada. I'm probably making up a straw man person, a straw man Sonic fan, I suppose. Honestly, the way Sonic fans act, they kind of are just justified in being that straw man sometimes. Sometimes the scarecrow actually scares the crows, you know? Yeah, it probably makes sense. Just a touch. Okay, put we highlight here just to indicate that it's adhering to light just a bit. Just a touch, huh? Just a smack. That'll work. I'm kind of like really just letting it look completely different. You can do a little bop bop. I will say, copy. Do this, put that here. Copy. There we are. So now we have like one for each side. That looks alright. Yeah, there's different types of looks and things like that. Oh yeah, I do need to new layer, tail. What? All right. Oh. Send the cells here. All right, we'll do like a inner outline. Yeah, I kind of like noticed that a lot of Freedom Planet soundtrack sounds influenced by this, like the US Sonic CD soundtrack. Like I can hear with a lot of the MIDI-ness. In a way, it kind of like I guess has that like that rolling MIDI. I don't know how I can explain it, but a lot of Freedom Planet soundtracks sound so similar to this soundtrack. Like I don't know who composed the Freedom Planet soundtrack, but I'm betting money that they were influenced by this soundtrack. Okay, got a little tail going here, and one thing that I could do is have a little the cape, not a cape, it's not a cape, it's a coat. It's a little fucking coat. Motherfucker. It's hot. You'll do it all green. Okay. Link have you below. Yeah, motherfucker. again, the biggest flaw in Cole's character design is that he has both a long coat and a tail, so it just doubles his secondary animation just for literally no reason other than, man, it looks cool, bro. It looks cool. That's literally just about it. And I wasn't thinking a lot about, like, you know, the actual logistics of animating this shit. Okay. But doing this like frame thing probably means nothing, but it's something. Probably means absolutely nothing. I could probably like I could probably do like a outline thing. It's kind of okay. It's super okay. I'm kind of like doing a 2-frame blowing thing. Oh yeah. Kind of like doing a weird salute. I think this is as good as I can get at the moment. Looks okay. Probably could like rework the face a bit more. But right now I'm feeling real tired. Sorry for all the massive technology fumblings. I probably didn't get as much done as I should. I'll just have to live with that as I try to do another stream. I want to try to get another stream done this week. You know, kind of just make up for missing my streams last week, so I will actually announce it on social media, but right now I'm kind of just digging through the shittery that is my tech. Anyway, I'm feeling very tired. I'd like to go to sleep. I will see you all next time. Have a good night.